Clash in Paris is this Sunday, and the OTC wants his goddamn shoes back. This is Word Around the Ring. I'm KiingJesss, and this is the only podcast that will be baking baguettes this Sunday in honor of the PLE. But before we get there, we got some catching up to do. Monday Night Raw was live from Birmingham, England, and let me tell you, this crowd was, in The Rock's words, electric. The episode started by airing a small recap on the events of last Monday and the absolute war and chaos that was Jay versus Breakker. After that, we kicked off the show with the OTC, who came down to the ring to thunderous applause. I don't know what y'all are drinking overseas before the shows, but we need some of that here in the States. The OTC was rocking a shirt that I personally wasn't vibing with, so I think I'm going to skip on this design, but I'm still excited for his shoes to drop whenever that may be. Roman took the ring and cut somewhat of an emotional promo, promising he's got big plans for that night, that weekend, the rest of the year, and even the next, but he also reflected on the fact that Cody's prophecy came true. He lost it all and stood in the ring alone to prove it. At this point, the crowd started cheering yeet, so the OTC responded. He went on to say how he was proud of Jay and that everything that's coming to him he deserves. The OTC went on to call out Big Bronson, but before he could even start, the Oracle decided to interrupt. Paulie goes on to introduce the tribal thief, Big Bronson Reed, in similar fashion to how he used to introduce Roman, and I gotta say, I kind of fuck with the design of the tee on this one. I would get rid of the shoes in the design, but overall, a banger of a tee. Paulie goes on to cut a promo on how he understands that Roman lost it all, but that he still loves him, at which the crowd started chanting OTC, and in response, Paul tried getting a Bronson Reed chant going, but the crowd just wasn't fucking with it. The Oracle decides to offer Roman some tough love and tells him that this Sunday, Braun will beat him. Big Bronson Reed was done standing there and took the mic from Paul at this point and hit us with an impromptu history lesson. Reed told Roman that his tattoos were paid, but his were earned, and that he was a true Samoan from Australia, the type of Samoan his parents warned him about, and that Sunday he would show him what he meant. I don't know about y'all, but that's mad disrespectful. Anyways, Roman went on to cut the very viral promo telling Bronson if he's Samoan, then he owns him, and that if that's the case, then he's gonna need Bronson to acknowledge him. Just as Bronson was trying to leave, Roman rushed down the ramp and the brawl began. These big boys rumbled all the way back to the ring, followed by tons of backstage hands that tried to break them up, but those boys were like two bulls in a china shop. They made quick work of the extras and went right back at it. Braun tried stealing Roman's shoes yet again, but failed this time. The brawl was broken up for a second time, but the OTC wasn't finished. He wanted one for the road, so he ran up the steel steps and launched a massive Superman punch in an attempt to clear the crowd and reach Braun. And with that, they sent us into our first ad break. I gotta say, I don't know if I needed any hyping for this match, but if I did, this segment did it for me. While still being a huge draw for the WWE, Roman's not on top anymore. We're getting to see a down-and-out OTC looking to claim his throne again, but finally acknowledging that he has to put in the work to get there. And that's refreshing to see.
Consider this a tsunami warning. Here goes Reed. And there's our general manager, Adam Pearce, out there as well. And a Superman punch by Roman, knocking Reed off the top rope. And just a preview of what's coming our way Sunday at Clash in Paris between these two monsters. Roman Reigns isn't done yet. The OTC into the fray.
Up next was the Ace of the Judgment Day facing off against Dragon Lee. With those two names alone, you know you were going to get a good match. Dragon Lee has been an amazing talent that's been getting a lot more showcasing as of recent due to the partnership with AAA. And JD has always been a mini Finn Balor, and that's not always a bad thing. Plus, he's more than proven himself since his return. As for what I can remember, he really hasn't put on a bad match since. Lee took charge early here, but it was cut short as JD also tried cheating early. JD distracted the ref and signaled Finn to interfere, but just as Finn was about to do something, the ref turned around and caught him red-handed. With that, the ref said get to packing, and it was just JD on his own against Lee. Like I said, with these two talents alone, you know you're going to get a good show, and now with the distractions out of the way, these boys could show us what they had. Dragon Lee got off an insane pile driver on JD that I thought for sure took him out, but JD got up and he kept fighting. But like always with the Judgment Day match, just because you ban one member, it doesn't mean the other three won't interfere, and so was the case, as Dom tried coming in and ruining the match for Lee. But AJ Styles' hate for Dom doesn't just travel to Mexico. No, it also goes across the pond as AJ showed up in favor of Lee and stopped Dom in his tracks. This gave Lee enough time to kick it into gear and deliver an Operation Dragon to JD, winning him the match.
Oh, look who's here! The Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dom! In a collision in the middle of the ring, McDonough... AJ Styles! Styles attacking Mysterio again! The hater of the year. There's no ocean AJ won't cross. Well, Dominic shouldn't have been involved in the first place, but AJ Styles, who brought the elbow pad to the crowd. And Lee with a big elbow to McDonough. Oh! Operation Dragon! And Operation Dragon, the victory by Dragon Lee tonight. What a big win!
This match was great, and I wish I wouldn't have ended in fuckery, but there was no chance they were going to skip on using AJ overseas. If y'all remember, it was in Paris that when Mr. Styles had the building going so much that the cameras couldn't stay still. Which brings me to my next point. Why the fuck isn't the rematch on this card? I know y'all gotta fill out the tour for overseas, but not having the rematch at Clash is a huge fumble. Following that, we had Rhea Ripley going up against Roxanne Perez, two favorites of mine. Both of these ladies are top talent, so in writing, this should have been a great match. And for the most part, it was. These ladies wasted no time and went full force off the back. We had a lot of outside ring spots in the match, which was clearly just to threaten Rhea with Raquel's presence as she was ringside. Roxy took control at one point when both ladies were standing on the apron. Roxanne slammed down on Rhea's knee, buckling her instantly. But as we returned from the ad break, Rhea was in charge again, so I'm not sure what happened there. Rhea ended this shortly after when she hit a riptide on Roxanne for the 1-2-3. But it didn't end there, as Raquel took to the ring and her and Roxy proceeded to jump Rhea for winning. But just as Rhea was taking an ass whooping, Io's music hit and she rushed to the ring to save the day.
Uh-oh, Rhea. Roxanne wanted the side rushing leg sweep. Headbutt. Ripley. Riptide. Rhea with the win. Well, here comes the former world champ, Io Sky. Io and Rhea vowed to take their own separate paths earlier tonight, but Io couldn't let this stand. Oh, and down goes Perez, remember?
Io and Rhea have been in the storyline where the Kabuki Warriors are telling Io she can't be friends with Rhea. It's on some real mean girl shit. But as it was happening, I thought, man, Asuka isn't going to be too happy about this. And like clockwork, we get a backstage segment between Io and the Warriors where Asuka tells Io, once again, we're family, she isn't. Pretty much giving her the pick a side speech. Personally, I like this to turn into Rhea and Io versus the Warriors, and ultimately that leading into an Io versus Asuka, but who knows what they're doing with this, so only time will tell. For the co-main event of the night, we had AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, ex-Bullet Club leader versus ex-Bullet Club leader, two megastars around the world, all on a fucking Monday night in England. What more do you need to know? Go watch this match. It was a fucking banger. And guess what? It was even clean. No fuckery, nothing. AJ did win it by pulling off a Styles Clash, but I gotta give props to WWE for allowing this to be a pure, straight, and clean match between the two.
And Balor able to shift his balance just enough and launch AJ out to the apron. Styles with a forearm. Here it comes. Top rope. Balor ducks underneath. Sling blade by Finn. Air is left in the lungs of Styles, is about to go bye-bye for the coup de grace, and Styles moves out of harm's way. And now rolls through, looking for the calf crusher perhaps, but Balor able to turn it around. Jackknife cover, Styles turns it into a Styles Clash. And he connects. AJ with the win.
In the main event, we had LA Knight versus Braun Breaker. This started off hot from backstage as we cut to a shot of the Vision trying to jump the OTC, but Adam Pearce showed up to break it up and tell Braun he's got to get it together because he's got a match tonight. And just as he finished, Knight shows up to continue the brawling backstage. Knight quickly starts leading Braun to the ring, and the match began returning from an ad break. These guys brawled it out for a good bit till Seth decided he wanted to personally make sure Knight didn't make it to Sunday's match. He showed up, distracting Knight and handing Braun the win, but like I said, Seth didn't want Knight making it to Clash, at least not 100%, so him and Reed proceeded to stomp a mud hole in Knight. With Knight down, we hear Jay's music pop and we see him rush the ring, trying to stop what's happening, but in true Jay fashion, just ends up getting his ass whooped too, and now both men are just getting whooped on. With that, of course, the CM Punk chants from the crowd start flowing, and then you hear the static. CM Punk is in England, and he's locked in on Seth. He made quick work of Braun, who tried intervening, and now stood face to face with Seth in the ring. They exchanged blows for a brief period, but Braun ended up saving Seth from Punk by pulling him out of the ring. As the Vision retreated back up the ramp, all that was left in the ring were the contenders to Seth's belt. And while Punk was adamant about helping his friend Jay back up, he did so by stepping over a downed LA Knight. Knight took that personally and took it up with Punk. At this point, Braun wanted to rush in and attack all three, but Seth told him to wait and see, that they were already going to do the work for them. And he was right. As Knight kept prodding at Punk for not respecting him, the argument turned violent, and Punk GTS Knight into Jay. Well, that was enough for Jay to realize that what Roman's been trying to teach him was true, and in these situations, there are no friends. So he proceeded to super kick them both and stand tall in the end, with everybody saying, "Yeet."
This is as aggressive and focused as we may have ever seen, damn it! Of course. I mean, should we expect anything different? His prized pupil in trouble, and here comes Rollins. This tells me a lot, Cole. This tells me that Seth Rollins is sweating. Rollins is worried, and he doesn't like what he's seeing from LA Knight. Yeah, I guarantee you, he saw the fire in the eyes of Knight that we saw. LA Knight now in pursuit of the world champion. And now Breaker here, and just like that, Rollins turns the tables. And Breaker spears Knight out of his boots. And Rollins and Breaker want to do more damage to two of Rollins' opponents on Sunday. Rollins' vision extremely clear. Take out my opponents. So they're less than 100%. Absolute power and total control. And the fourth man in the fatal four-way equation Sunday. And Breaker gonna meet Punk in the aisle. And Punk has come to fight. Rollins sicked the dog on CM Punk, but Punk was ready. And now Breaker driven into the ring post. And now Punk turns his attention to his arch nemesis, the world champion, Seth Rollins. So much for keeping the peace.
No. Look. They're doing it for us. They're doing it for us.
That's wise advice by Rollins as Punk and Knight now are imploding. Oh, shoved into Uso goes Knight. And Punk doesn't care. He's got Knight up for a GTS. Super kick from Jay to Knight.
And with that, we're all caught up. Now, before I head out, let's get into the predictions for this weekend show. Clash in Paris is being brought to us from the Paris La Défense Arena in Paris, France. And we got 5 matches as of today, unless more get announced. First up is Becky versus Nikki for the IC belt. And if you haven't noticed by now, I don't give a fuck about this feud in its entirety. So I'll just leave it at this. I hope Nikki wins. Next, we got Sheamus versus Rusev in a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Basically, an Extreme Rules match, but since Sheamus is Irish, we gotta theme it up, just like we do when we got Damien, the king of your local street fight priest. Sheamus and Rusev have been going at it for a minute now, and I gotta say, it's been solid. It's telling a decent story between the two, and it doesn't take up too much time on the show. I just hope this leads Sheamus into his Grand Slam, maybe either sometime early next year, or if not, for a short run at the end of this year. With that being said, I got Sheamus on this one. Third, we have Roman Reigns defending his kicks against the tribal thief himself, Big Bronson Reed. This has been a fun and entertaining feud, and it's been a good kickoff to Roman's redemption arc. Not only do we get to see the OTC slowly become him again, but I gotta imagine it's good promo for his upcoming shoe release. Either way, this is going to be an interesting one. I got the OTC winning. My real question is, if he does win, does that mean he gets his shoes back? One of the bigger matches on the card for the night, we got Seth Rollins defending his belt up against 4 megastars. We got the Fatal 4-Way between Seth, Knight, Jay, and Punk. While I would love for Knight to start winning big, I see no reason to dethrone Seth just yet. The other 3 are really just there to drum a pipe for Paris, so I got Seth winning it on Sunday. I just hope that we got plans for my boy Knight, because this is starting to get a little bit ridiculous. Last, we have the GOAT John Cena versus Logan Paul. If I could pick a name off of Cena's wish list to replace Paul in this match, trust me, I would. I love Logan. I think he's a megastar in the making, and I'm glad he found wrestling. I feel like it's really helped him out to grow as a person. But we got a few spots left with John, and we're seriously giving one to Paul? At that point, I would have at least gave it to Dom. Either way, this is what stands between John and Brock. So in Paris, I hope to see my hero beat the brakes off a YouTuber and send us into the Brock feud head held up high. Because Lord knows we're going to need it. And with that, the episode comes to an end. Join me next week as I drop the Clash in Paris review show. And remember to drop by and check out Cinema Culture Club, your one-stop shop for everything and anything pop culture related. This episode was also proudly brought to you by Pizza Neo, the best pizza joint this side of Vegas. Follow them over at Pizza Neo Pizza on all socials to know when the next hot drop is. I hope you enjoyed the PLE this weekend. Tag us on your stories and show us how you're viewing the show. Who knows, we might even repost some of them. Until then, I've been KiingJesss. This was Word Around the Ring. And remember, Cody beat Roman before Solo did. Cody's still the real OTC.